We have a massive Avalanche update as multiple sources share crucial information about the Colorado Avalanche heading into Game 2 of the first round of the playoffs against the Dallas Stars tonight. And this massive update plays a huge role and has huge implications for what this team is going to look like on the ice tonight, as well as all of the fans, the coaches, the staff, everybody that is involved in this Colorado Avalanche team. It plays a massive role in Game 2 of the first round of the Stanley Cup Playoffs tonight. We're going to dive into everything around this huge update that was just released right here, right now on Avalanche Digest. I do want to remind you to make sure that you are subscribed to Avalanche Digest here on YouTube. You can also find Avs Digest on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, but please make sure that you're subscribed. This is the best place for your daily Colorado Avalanche news and updates. We're at 86 subscribers, only 14 away from hitting the 100 subscriber mark. The channel's been live for just a little bit over a month, so for us to be able to get to that 100 subscriber mark would be awesome. Continuing to try to get this channel as large as possible. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you exit out of this video right now, hammer that subscribe button, and continue to help us grow the best up and coming one-stop shop for your Colorado Avalanche news and updates. Everything that you need to know about the Avs right here on Avalanche Digest. Let's dive into the huge news that dropped around the Colorado Avalanche today, which is that Gabriel Landeskog has been activated from the long-term injured reserve. This means that he is available and a real legitimate option for Jared Bednar to slot into the lineup tonight. So we could see Gabriel Landeskog potentially playing his first NHL game since 2022 when he skated in Tampa Bay for Game 6 of the 2022 Stanley Cup Finals, where the Avs would lift Lord Stanley and take home their third franchise Stanley Cup. Now, as we know, the journey for Gabe Landeskog has been an absolute roller coaster. The initial injury on his quad from Cale Makar's skate, and then the knee injury, which caused him to not play a game in the NHL since, as we just said, that 2022 Stanley Cup final game. He has gone through loads and loads of recovery, rehab, hasn't been able to skate for a very long time. He's been around the team and in the locker room, but he hasn't been suiting up and lacing up the skates and going on the ice with the team, which is such a mental block and a mental barrier for both him as the captain and as the player, and for the team who hasn't had their captain, that player wearing the C, on the ice for over 2 years. So to have him activated off the LTIR after these kind of last few weeks where we've seen so many insane updates around Landeskog, all these documentaries and this media coverage dropping, going up to Loveland, Colorado and doing a 3-day conditioning stint with the Colorado Eagles, the AHL affiliate of the Colorado Avalanche, where we saw him have points in both games that he played, as well as a goal in the second game. For him to be activated off the LTIR and a legitimately viable option for the Colorado Avalanche tonight is massive. Now, the media this morning spoke with Jared Bednar about Landeskog and the potential of him playing tonight, especially considering the Ross Colton injury, in which he most likely will not be an option for this evening's game. And Bednar said that he's unsure yet and that we will see if he is going to be the person slotted into the lineup for Game 2 instead of Ross Colton tonight. The other option is, of course, Miles Wood, who was scratched and did not play in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. But regardless, to see the potential of Gabe Landeskog making his return tonight is absolutely massive. And of course, the question is raised as to how well he'll be able to play and how good he's going to be able to fit in and mix with the roster. He hasn't played with a lot of these players because the roster has changed so much since the last time he laced him up and put on that burgundy and blue sweater. But just to have him suited up on the ice, on the bench, in the locker room as a player for this team, it's going to fire up that team and even the fan base watching so much, and it's got everybody absolutely dialed in. Take a look at a news release this morning. The Colorado Avalanche, who, as we've already talked about, activated the captain off injured reserve. Landeskog hasn't played a game since 2022. His chronic right knee injury that led to 2 surgeries has kept him off the ice through multiple attempts to get him back, and after his 2-game conditioning stint in the AHL, it is another step forward in this roller coaster process for Gabe Landeskog making his return to the Colorado Avalanche tonight. And another conversation point as to whether or not he'll make his return tonight is a lot of people have been saying that it could be a delay waiting for Game 3 of the series where Gabe Landeskog will return in Ball Arena at home in Denver, Colorado, in front of a home crowd. Clearly, the Avs had no problems without any of these players in the lineup the other night. They handled the Dallas Stars splendidly in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Playoffs, round 1, where they beat the Stars 5-1. So they could be waiting to slot Landeskog into the lineup until they're back home in Denver, Colorado for Game 3 of the series on Wednesday. But either way, to have him off of LTIR and as a valid and potential option for the Colorado Avalanche tonight, it is getting the team and the fans and everybody absolutely jazzed up and ready to go. And the team is doing well in general. So much depth in this Colorado Avalanche lineup right now. Jared Bednar was asked this morning if they compared the two Game 1s, where last year the Avs took a Game 1 win over the Dallas Stars in the second round of the playoffs, but it was by the skin on their teeth. It was a very close game. It went to overtime, and the Stars were all over the Avs during overtime, and the Avs were barely able to score and get that Game 1 win, versus this year where it was all Colorado. Mackenzie Blackwood had an amazing playoff debut, and a 5-1 win showed the depth, the speed, and the dominance of this Colorado Avalanche team. But Jared Bednar said in the media this morning they are not comparing these games or these series to last year. Everything is fresh. Everything is new. Bednar exclaimed that this is a new team, and a team that is different in a lot of different realms and aspects of hockey. And so they are fully prepared to make no comparisons to last year and just continue to see how the team is doing in every aspect of this season and continue to assert their dominance as much as possible in this series over the Dallas Stars. We take a look at the lineups for tonight, projected lineups. That is, this was last game's lineup, and you wonder where Gabe Landeskog would potentially be slotted into the lineup if they're going to play him tonight. Obviously, the scratches on the offensive side of things for the Avs in the last game were Miles Wood and Gabe Landeskog, but now Ross Colton, who left Game 1 with a lower body injury and is not feeling up to the task to play tonight, that's that third line right wing spot in which we're not sure where we're going to see a new player in the lineup tonight. Now, of course, the option could be to slot Miles Wood into that third line and let him play against the Stars tonight. But of course, the bigger idea and the bigger piece of news is where would Gabe Landeskog, the captain who has just been activated off LTIR, be slotted into the lineup. Landeskog, obviously primarily a left wing, so you could slot him into the third lineup and bump Joel Kiviranta over to the right wing and let Landeskog take over the left wing. Or you could completely flip Landeskog and Ross Colton and just let Landeskog play the right wing tonight. Or you could, if you're Jared Bednar, you could mess a little bit with just the third and the fourth line in general. Maybe you're bumping Joel Kiviranta down to the fourth line, or you're bumping Parker Kelly up to the third line. I think a line with Parker Kelly, Charlie Coyle, and Gabe Landeskog would be massive for the Colorado Avalanche. A lot of different options and a lot of different things that are potentially available for Coach Jared Bednar to do. And something else he was asked in the press conference this morning was, does the Dallas Stars lineup and the other coaching decisions affect his mindset and what he wants to do heading into a game as large as the stakes as this one? And he said that it kind of does. It sort of depends on just what he's feeling and where his mindset is at. But if the Dallas Stars potentially make a different lineup change or something that Jared Bednar thinks could be dealt with a different lineup, there's a scenario where he deals with it differently. So huge news for the Colorado Avalanche. Gabe Landeskog activated off LTIR and is an option to play in Game 2 of the Stanley Cup Playoffs against the Dallas Stars tonight. Not a for sure thing yet, but to have him activated off LTIR is absolutely massive. No Ross Colton, most likely this evening. And on the other side of the ice, Jason Robertson will not play in Game 2, as well as Miro Heiskanen is still out of the lineup for the Dallas Stars. Avs have a 1-0 lead in the first round of the playoffs over the Dallas Stars, and with huge news that has major implications. We'll see what they're able to do in Game 2 tonight in Dallas.